Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here on the group call. I'm Atlantis Wolf. Today on the free group call, we're doing wealth altars, how to build a wealth altar using things in your home. And the idea is that we're going to focus the energy of the wealth that you already have. So I'm standing in front of my wealth altar. And the reason why this workshop came to be is because I moved into my office, which is my best ever, best scenario, the place I wanted to be for the last 14 years, and it was never available. It's just great location, old building, anchored by star beings, terrazzo floors, built in the 20s. I love it, but it's never been available because it's a great place to be. It has parking, has my favorite cafe, bakery downstairs, but it got cleared out with COVID. And so after COVID, about 6 months after, my acupuncturist said, "Oh, well, there's room in the building if you wanted to come and look." And I looked and I came and I found the place after going back and forth. And I meant to build this 3 years ago when I moved in. And I was too busy. I was too busy for wealth. If that's not the truest statement ever said, I don't know what is. Because I feel like that happens not just to me, but to a lot of us. I'll build that later. I'll do that later. I'll take the course later. I'll listen later. I'll do the recording later. And we put it off just because we're human, just because we're busy. And for me, it's because I don't do anything small. So this was something I wanted to do, but it was huge. It was a huge project. And so what happened was in about 3 weeks ago, I had a big dip in my clients, which is pretty typical around graduation, Father's Day, and things like that. It usually dips, and it dipped a lot. And after 14 years in business, I know where the cycles are, but I wasn't used to this big shift. And so I had to shift, just like I did with COVID, actually, from my currency being money to my currency being time. Those are the two currencies that we work with. But I would argue you really only have time, because I think of Steve Jobs, who died of pancreatic cancer with all the money that could possibly be printed. So money is a form of currency, but really it's time. If you think about time as what you want to invest in, spend, and be with, the money will flow and everything will come naturally. So the first thing we're going to do is I want you to find your word. So my word is wealth. This is my wealth altar. So take a minute and think about what your word is. Is your word wealth, prosperity, abundance, health, money, overflow, something that indicates a river of unlimited resources? You're not trying to create something that will bring something small into your life. You don't want to create something that's just going to bring $5,000. You want something that will feed you infinitely, an infinite resource. So think about what that word is, because it carries a vibration for you. It represents all that you need and more in a continuous flow. So you can think about a river, you can think about the energy coming up into your body, overflowing. I think of it as the earth energy coming up into my body, filling me as if I was a cup or a goblet, and overflowing to fill the cups of all those around me. Almost like one of those chocolate fountains that just goes down and down and down and down and down, because there's infinite flow coming through me. I fill the cups infinitely around me. And I don't distinguish. Some people distinguish, fill the cups of people that help me or that need me. I am like the sun. I shine on everyone. I fill all the cups. We all need our cup full. And we're all going through something. So with no judgment, I fill the cups of all those around me. So now that you have your word, and obviously you're allowed to change it because it's your word, and it could be a sound. It doesn't have to be an English word. It doesn't have to be a known word. It could be a sound. It could be 3 letters. It just has to have meaning for you. So take the word and breathe the word into your body. See what it feels like when it lands inside your body. And now, close your eyes and imagine that you are standing on your favorite place on Earth, real or imaginary. If you're not feeling earthbound today, go to another planet. But put yourself somewhere where you're sitting, standing, laying down, in a place that is incredibly calm, peaceful, soft, gentle. Breathe into that space. Breathe in the temperature of the air on your skin, the weight of your body in that area, the sounds all around you, the ease that lets you feel like you can be there forever. And breathe in all of it to your body and breathe all of it out of your body. Now imagine there's a point of light on the horizon that's coming towards you. And it's your word. It's your wealth word, your wealth sound. That light is coming closer and closer. That light is reaching your face, filling the air with gold sparkles around your face and your body, and it's surrounding the air around you until you are completely wrapped in the light and the sparkles of your wealth word. Breathe in all that word means to you. Every aspect of your wealth word into your body. So much so, saturated down to the cells that you say, I am wealth. Find your word, be that word. I am wealth. When you feel it saturated into your body, open your eyes, get out your notebook, and start with the prompt. I am speaking as the voice of your wealth word. I'll give you a few minutes and I'll put on some music to help your vibration. Okay, wrap up whatever thoughts you have, knowing that this is a good start. You can always come back to it. You can always come back to your writing and where you started so that you can finish up. And if you need to have a couple more words, that's okay too. Do that. Let's see. I'm trying to just have my screen. So for some reason, it doesn't like that. All right, well, I'm going to take it as it's supposed to be like that. Oh, no, that's definitely not what we want. Okay. Take it at face value. So the first thing to do is think about how it feels to be your word. So for anybody who can, let me see, 1, 2, 3. Put in the chat your wealth word. Go to chat, open it up, and type in whatever your wealth word was. Overflow, fantastic. Joy, woo. Abundance, excellent. And it's the idea manifestation, allowing abundance. So you're going to qualify your wealth into just what's allowed. Well, think about just making it abundance and see what happens. Fulfillment, that's a big one too. That's almost a state. That's like a state of being, that fulfillment. Yeah. Wealth. I love wealth. That works for me because to me, and it's what you define, right? To me, wealth is I have money, I have a healthy body, I have prosperity, I have plenty of resources coming into my life, so much so that it's not just about what I need, but it's more. It's about more than I need because it's not about survival. You don't want to make a wealth for survival. Bring me enough just to scoot by. You want to bring more than what you need because everyone wants to give. That's part of why we're here is we give. So you want to be giving, generously giving to a savings account, a neighbor, a friend. You want to have extra. And that's the idea. So there's infinite resources. Yes. And it's going to change, right? Because prosperity is something, and then fulfillment, it's almost like when I hear you say that, it's almost that it starts with prosperity, ends with fulfillment, and then it goes through another prosperity loop because it is going to keep going. It's going to keep looping forward. So take your word, think about how it feels, and then think about everything that you have in your house. We all have stuff in our house, our apartment, our things. Think about your things and see if you can find something that represents that feeling. So you have this word. Now think about what you have, and I'll give you my example. So when I think about how does it feel to be wealthy, in my definition, my vibration, when I looked around all of my things, this is what came to mind. Ta-da! That's right, 1976 Wonder Woman, and signed, because this was a Christmas present for my daughter. Because to me, this is what my body feels like. And I'm a kinesthetic in your body person. When I feel wealthy, I feel like that. Powerful, strong, all the things. So look around. So it can be, you can represent it but it's going to be the feeling of your word, prosperity, joy, manifestation. Look for a picture, look for a crystal, look for a magazine cover, look for even a picture of yourself. Let's say that you always wanted to go to Machu Picchu, and you did. There was a picture, and you, at that moment, you felt supreme overflow and abundance, just a geyser of possibility. Go find that picture and get that picture to where you can see it and where you can bring it in. And it's going to be important to have that somewhere where you can see it all the time, because you want to remind yourself about that feeling. You are feeding this altar, you're feeding it your love and attention. And that's the point. Secondarily, find objects to support whatever it is that you picked. So I picked that picture and I support it with crystals and this rock. I found this rock when I was walking, when I was in Egypt last October. Jen Kreifels was there, and we had just gone to the Sphinx. It was the first day. We did a dawn ceremony to greet the energy and we walked around to the other side of the Sphinx where you can take pictures of the 3 pyramids that are there. They're all sort of in the same general area. It's pretty big. There's buses and things like that. But in the morning we were there and there was no one, so we could take some beautiful pictures. And as I was walking, I found this. And this is kind of crazy because it has a spiral and I'm very much connected to the spiral path. And I took it to our guide, Emil Shaker, who's the premier Egyptologist in the world. And I said, "What is this?" And he just said, "It's not man-made." So this big rock, and I had a little suitcase, became what I carried through the 2 weeks in Egypt and then the 10 days in England. So this represents to me the spiral path, and it reminds me there's things that are working for me that take me to magical places, because travel is so important to me. Travel is wealth. It represents everything about wealth. I have enough resources to get on the plane, to find the right people, to gather those people around me, to be traveling safely and well with good food, to have my office paid for while I'm gone, to have my business partner take care of everything while I'm gone, to have my kids take care of my house while I'm gone. And that's why I picked this, because this is a representation of what is happening in my life every time I travel. So after you find an object to anchor that feeling, it doesn't have to be a stone. Stones and crystals are helpful because they really anchor the energy. So if you have crystals in your house, great. And if you don't, go outside your house, find a rock. It's really about bringing what you have into a focus. This is not about buying anything. This is about getting yourself into a vibration and then seeing what calls to you. Keep that word, that wealth word in you, and then look around and say, does that really vibrate with wealth? Oh, it does. Okay, I'm going to put it in a pile and I'm going to find a way to arrange it into my wealth altar. Maybe I don't know exactly how it's going to fit in big picture, but I'm going to bring it in. So just look at all your stuff. It may be stuff that you have on the wall. It could be stuff you have in a basket, stuff you have in your basement, stuff that's stored away. It could be just the random collection of things, but it's just about getting into the vibration and seeing what aligns with it. So the next step is to bring in the elements. So on this level of the wealth altar is water. I have a water fountain and it's continuously flowing. It's on a blue, we're also representing water, silk scarf. It's very wavy, so it's very much in that flow, that water feeling. It has the sand for the earth. It has fire There's candles, candles, more candles. And it has air. And I represent air with a goblet. And this goblet came from a place that I took my kids for 11 years called the Chautauqua Institute, which I held near and dear to my heart. And they were getting rid of these because they were redoing all of the kitchen, the decorating, and everything like this. Now, the fact that this is so old school, because this is what they would serve water in, these really fancy, old, heavy goblets, charmed me beyond words. So I had to take it. I'm like, yeah, of course I'll take one. I wish I had taken 4, to be honest. So what I use it for is to put in what I want. So I write down what I want. I put it in to the goblet. And I take a bell to bring all the spiritual energy to focus around it and ring and ask for what I want, this or something better for my highest and best purpose. And I do that every day. So for you, think about if you don't have this fountain that I've had it for 5 years and it was broken. And so I've been meaning to replace the little tiny pump inside. You can get it at fish stores and like pet supply stores. And it's just homemade. It was somebody's bowl and it had rocks in it and this little tiny pump and water and some bamboo. And when I plugged it in, it worked. I was wrong. It wasn't broken. It just needed attention. So I scrubbed it and I scrubbed all the scale off of it because it was with just sort of the water you would get out of the tap. And I have a service that brings in spring water. So I scrubbed all the scale off and I cleaned it all off and I took it all apart and I put it back together and it works. And I replaced all the stones, which were kind of janky. They were just okay. They just look like stones. And I went to the box that I have for hot stone massages. So they're little tiny stones. So these are basalt stones and they're just cool. They just have a nice vibration. They have a nice shape. They're round. They feel good in my hand. I think that they're just awesome. And to me, they're very earthy. Like I feel like, yes, earth vibes. So I put those in there and I let it flow all the time. Not if I'm going to be gone for a couple days because of evaporation, but in general, I want my wealth to be flowing all the time. If you don't have a little water fountain in your house hanging around that you think is broken, just find a glass of water and fill it every day. You're still bringing in the element of water and you're still refreshing it. You don't need it to be flowing. Mine is, you can go get one or make one or something like that, but the whole idea is to start out with things you already have. So just find a glass that you like or a glass that you're just fond of. It doesn't need to be fancy, pretty. It needs to be something that you like. You love it. You're like, I love this glass. Could be a juice glass, wine glass, mug, anything. Fill it up with water. Air, same thing. You could find a vase that's empty and you could put what you want in the vase. You could find another glass. You could find a glass dish. You could find anything that's empty to represent the air, the spirit that's coming in to help you. The earth part is easy because the earth could be dirt. It could be stones that you have around. It could be a brown cloth, like if you have a brown napkin, anything that feels earthy, mossy, moss agate. It could be a crystal to represent something that's more earth-based, like hematite or obsidian, something very earthy, heavy, grounded, like that. And fire, if you have candles, that would be the easiest thing. Find candles, dust off candles. Most of us have candles somewhere, even if they're fancy. I had candles for years that I didn't burn because I was waiting for a special occasion. I don't think I'm the only one that does that. They're beautiful candles. And now they're burning. And I'm really happy about that because here they are and they are serving a purpose. So once you assemble those things, and again, this is just a mentality, just get into the mentality of what could represent fire. It could even be one of the little like flameless candles. I love these little flameless candles. So you can have some of these. Nowadays, they actually have a setting, which I didn't realize until they all turned off all at once. I came in, they're all off. I'm like, what is happening? But now they have an automatic setting. So they're on for 6 hours and then off for 6 hours or something. This could represent your fire. Even if you have this, this is great. This represents fire. So if you're in an apartment, you're not allowed to have candles, any situation, find something that to you represents fire. Even if you have to find something that's just yellow or orange or red, it's okay. This is about intention. When you have them assembled, you want to pick an area of your house that you'll see every day. You're going to assemble these pieces in a place that, again, it could be anywhere. It could be on your dresser. It could be a small part of your kitchen table. It could be a shelf somewhere that you're going to see it. And again, it doesn't need to be big. Even if you have an area the size of a laptop, you can assemble all of these things together, because the whole idea is that you're gathering the energy. You're bringing it all together and concentrating it. That's what the altar does. It focuses the energy into a single point. Just like that single point of light that came towards you, this single point of light in your altar will naturally expand and it will grow. And you'll find yourself probably putting it in a bigger place and adding to it or changing it, things like that. You change out the water, you could change out a cloth underneath it, you could find a cool napkin to put under there, you could find a cacao bean, put it on there. You know, you can shift the things around to freshen it up. I usually like to put flowers on my altar, and that way the flowers naturally have a cycle, and it reminds me that everything is in a cycle. The flowers are on there, they start to fade. I get sad because I know I'm going to have to let them go, take them into my backyard and put them in the backyard pachysandra, and then get new flowers. So find something that has a natural cycle to remind yourself that you're also in the cycle. The the key is to begin with that. So after you have that and you're feeling good about it, find existing seeds of wealth. Money is a great example of seeds of wealth. So I have this bag, which I just found. My mom passed away 15 years ago. My dad just gave me her clothes, which included some of her purses. This is remarkably a Neiman Marcus bag, a little tiny coin purse kind of bag. And if there's anything that is the antithesis of my mom, it would be Neiman Marcus, which is hilarious. My mom was going to be a nun before she met my dad. She was not into stuff. So I kind of suspect it was her mom, who was more of a Vogue gal. But I have money from all the places that I've been that I really enjoyed. So I have money from my trip to England. This is a seed for my next trip to England in September. I took my kids on this remarkable vacation in 2016 to Disney World. I took an extra job. I worked 2 jobs for 6 months so I could take my kids on a bonanza Disney World trip and buy a new couch and a new TV and maybe a couple other things. And they used to give out Disney dollars. You could trade in your dollar for a Disney dollar and use it in the park. I found out they don't do it anymore. I also had a complete mental, are you kidding me? Because I actually, on that trip, unplanned, got to meet Mickey Mouse and get his signature. And there's a picture of me sobbing because I didn't know that that was so important to me. Oh dear Lord. So important. Yeah, so important. I still remember the t-shirt I was wearing, all of it. So I have it for the next time I take my kids to Disney. Now, because I just got my mom stuff, I was trying on all of her clothes, her skirts, a lot of skirts from Liberty in London, and a lot of shirts. And I found in a skirt, my mom died in May 2009, but I found in one of her skirts $10. And I have no idea when she put it in there because she lost weight and had a certain number of clothes and then gained weight later and things like that. But I know for a fact that my mom had her hands on this money. And so I'm keeping that because that to me represents ancestral wealth. I will give money to my children. I will create abundance and pass it on to them. And I have proof because from the grave, my mom passed on abundance to me. You can also use coins in the same way. I have coins of all the places that I've been. So I went to New Zealand for my honeymoon. I've been to Spain, I've been to different places, and it's really fun to have the coins, which are also little money seeds. So look around, maybe you have one. We also got this remarkable coin on the Egypt trip. And so this one sits outside of that to remind me, and that is a thick coin, my friend. That is the souvenir of souvenirs. So that one informs me because it has the Ankh, the everlasting life, for the everlasting love. So now, ooh, I should share one more thing. I just saw it. I wasn't going to share it. I changed my mind. I'm going to share it. I also have a heart. The top has come off, unglued, but it's there. And it has another heart inside. And I have the coins that my grandmother's father gave to her when she got married. And the inscription of him giving it to her. So although they did not have a lot of money, I assure you, there was still the passing of wealth, of love, of abundance, of joy, prosperity continuing to the next family. So this is near and dear to my heart. After you've accumulated all of this, go find proof of wealth. You have it in your house. There's something in your house that proves wealth, because there will come a day and you'll say, I don't have money, I don't have prospects, I don't have a chance. It's all burned away. I don't know what happened. I don't know who I made angry. I got nothing. It's not true. It's just part of the cycle. So behind the picture over here, I have proof of prosperity. So I have a letter from my bank proving I paid my house off. So I have a house. There are people that are going to die without having their house paid off, but I'm not one of them. And so when I get down on myself, or if I'm just thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to invent money? Because I think of money as something you invent. It just poof comes into your life. Here's my proof. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again. Here's my other proof. I just did an event at Wade Chapel. Tess was there. And I worked for 2 years to make this event happen. And it cost $1,500 to rent this. It's a Tiffany chapel covered in glass mosaic, just 32 feet on either side of mosaic glass. It's unspeakably beautiful. And I've wanted to hold a breathwork ceremony there for 2 years. I don't have $1,500. I could never charge 30 people enough money to make that lucrative or worth it. And so I worked with the program director who had just come on board to host me and to do an event there. So instead of me paying $1,500 to rent that out, They paid me and I have the check. So I did the little checky thing where, you take a picture and you get it in your bank account because I'm holding on to this check. This is my proof. And not only did I not have to spend that money, they paid me to do it. And I'm keeping my little tiny tab that I put in there because I intended and set on my wealth altar the intention to have it sold out, which it did. So no matter what, I have proof of prosperity. Now that is going to get you down the road, moving into, okay, I could bring the energy together. I've got the proof. I've got everything. I am an overachiever for sure. And so for me, I built a second level that I'm just going to share. You don't have to do this. This will not, I have this much stuff around. Like this is just who I am. I just have things around. So this is the seed of life. It is a sacred geometry shape that you can create any other sacred geometry shape from it. You can also use it to put crystals on. So you can do manifestation right on top of it. It's made out of wood. So that's here. And then I have gold calcite, which I got in Sedona. Some people call it honey calcite. I was told this one is gold calcite. The nice thing about orbs, if you're crystal people, is they expand in all directions. So it's the idea of gold. I'm very connected to the vibration of gold, the gold helix, in all directions. I want wealth in every aspect of my life. Love, money, kids, travel, health, all of it. I want it to be expanding in every aspect of my life. Then I have my favorite piece of labradorite. So labradorite has a property where it has a flash. And one of the really fun things is that this particular piece of labradorite has every single flash that exists. It has the pink, it has the peach, it has the blue, and it has the gold. Every single flash in this adorable little piece. For people who are not crystal people, labradorite is about transformation. So you could think of butterfly, the caterpillar chrysalis butterfly. It's very much insight, inspiration, and change. I also have my favorite Lemurian quartz. Has all the Lemurian light language on the back of it, just connected to it. Sage. This is a great place if you're sage, Palo Santo, sweetgrass people, bring it into your altar, clear it out, things like that. So this sage is soaked in dragon blood, which is not a real thing. It is an essential oil, and that's why it's red. On the left side, for me, I have all of my tarot cards to represent potential. This is wealth potential. We are all seeds of potential. We're seeds of wealth. So the tarot represents potential. And I use that potential in my dear darling pine cone that came from Italy. The pine trees in Italy are so big that this is their pine cone. This is my face. This is the pine cone. They are huge and gorgeous. On the other side is fulfillment over here. So I've been involved in 12 book projects. I contributed a chapter into these 12 books. Every single one of the books, Amazon #1 bestseller. So those are projects I said yes to. They took me to Teotihuacan, took me to Egypt, took me to different places inside of myself. So I represent that with an open pine cone. And this happens to be from the pine tree I slept under when I was in Italy. They had a little Reiki hut, they called it, but it was this adorable tiny little one-room cottage, the couple I stayed with. And so this came from the tree that I slept under. It dropped out of the tree and I brought it home with me because I love it. So think about bringing in both the seeds of potential and the seeds of fruition. because again, wealth is a continuous cycle. Above that, let me see if you can see it. You might be able to see it. Above that, nope. The camera gets a little funny. Divine Mother Mary, who's important to me, and that particular one came from my grandmother. And that represents the divinity and the light for me. There we go. In the middle is the original painting for my course, Take Flight, a map to your heart's desire. And my son painted that. And that's what all my marketing is based on. But to me, that's wealth. That's the online course, the map, the change, everything, all of it. Next to that is something my friend gave me. That's a vessel from Africa. And my camera is just really not wanting you guys to see that. So let me see if I can get the camera to, nope. Okay. Well, the vessels that you see, or the things that you see, where the hands are covering the eyes, that's a shaman. A shaman is one who sees in the dark. And so when you look at ancient statues or vessels or pieces of art, the people that are having their eyes veiled or their hands over them, it's to indicate a person who sees through the veils. So that's the shaman. So to me, it's the dark, the light, the balance, the galactic. And so for me personally, those are personal energies that I'm connected to, half of each. And then way up top, there's the golden dragon of Atlantis, because the dragons guide me, look after me, and hang out with me, as a lot of you know. So that's a lot of information. I'm actually glad that it's recorded. Let me make sure. Okay, one more thing. I'm glad I did write notes. When you get everything together, come up with a mantra. I'll give you mine. You could take mine, make it yours, do whatever you want, but come up with an invocation, say something. So every day I come in, this is at work, this is where I make money, this is where the wealth comes from. This is the source of wealth, my office at work. That's why it's here, not in my home. I used to work in my home, now I have an office because I'm wealthy enough to have an office. So it makes me proud to have it here. So I come in, I check the water in the fountain, see if it needs more water. I light the candles that need to be lit. I ring the bell over everything that I want and ask for this or something better for my highest and best purpose. I say, wealth? No, I'm also dyslexic. Money, health, prosperity, and wealth come to me today. Money, health, prosperity, and wealth come to me today. And then I think of ways that it's already true. I think of ways I have money, I am healthy, I have prosperity, I have abundance, I have everything. I'm in the cycle. It's a cycle. It's not, there's no end. There's no end to this flow. It's an infinite flow. So I used to, and this is recent because I've been doing a lot of coaching around my group coaching, and I coincidentally reached out to a person. I signed up for their class, a master class, guy in Quebec, Sylvain Hache, and he does charismatic storytelling. And I signed up, very excited, always willing to learn, can't wait. I figured, okay, I've got a curtain back here I need to put up for virtual backgrounds. I'll put that up. And I didn't get the link the morning of. I'm like, where's the link? So I sent him an email. Hey, I didn't get the link. Could you please send me the link? his virtual assistant did not get back to me. He got back to me and he said, "Oh, sorry about that. I'll let my assistant know." And I sent him the registration to prove that I did register for the class. So he sent me the link. And I got on the call. He got on the call. He talked to me. I was like, yeah, I'm in the back row. I'm just toe in the water. Like, I'm just peeking into your world. I got a curtain to put up. Nobody else showed up. This man that charges thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for personal coaching coached me for 2.5 hours because no one else showed up on the call. I wasn't the only one that missed the link. There was a technical error. The link email didn't go out. Nobody got the link, but I was the only one who asked him for the link. So I was the only one who got on the call and got this guy, this master level guy that teaches people how to make 10 million into 100 million from speaking on the stage, to myself for 2.5 hours. That's wealth. That's what it's all about. It's about the cycle. So now, because I took that only a few days ago, and I'm furiously looking at the recording, which is going to expire tomorrow. I used to be the person to say, I need enough money for Disney. I'm going to take my kids to Disney, get a couch, get a computer. So I need to make this much money divided by this many months, and I need this. Nope, not anymore. I'm never going to say I need $500 or $5,000. I want an infinite number of dollars, an infinite amount of wealth, an infinite amount of good health until the day I die, an infinite amount of prosperity. I want to create the engine of wealth that keeps feeding me so I can keep feeding other people. That's a different mentality. That's not, I need enough money for the mortgage, for the rent, for the office. That's, I'm in the infinite flow. I'm going to do this forever because I found a way to get into a flow state that keeps flowing and flowing and changing and growing. So consider that you're building an infinite engine of wealth, joy, abundance, fulfillment. It doesn't have an end, just like life does not have an end. It keeps going. So I'm going to stop the recording in a minute. Please don't get off the Zoom call. I'm going to take questions. For everybody on the replay, thank you for listening. I'm Atlantis Wolf, and I believe in you. I also believe in glasses.